Zephyr 9 had read over 14,000 minds across 37 species in his career as a galactic interrogator. The crystalline growths along his elongated skull pulsed with a soft blue light as he prepared for what should have been a routine mental extraction. The human sat across from him in the sterile white chamber, hands cuffed behind his back, looking remarkably calm for someone about to have his consciousness invaded. Captain Marcus Chun, according to the files, had been captured during humanity's first attempt at establishing a colony beyond their solar system. The hegemony needed to know Earth's military capabilities, their weaknesses, their plans, standard procedure. Zephyr 9 had done this countless times before. "Begin neural interface," he commanded, his voice carrying the harmonic undertones that marked his species. The crystals on his head flared brighter as he reached out with his consciousness, seeking the familiar pathways of thought that every sentient being possessed. But the moment his mind touched Marcus's, everything went wrong. "Wonder if my coffee maker is still on back home. Probably is knowing me always forget to turn it off," Sarah always said. "I burned the house down one day." Speaking of Sarah, wonder how she's doing. Probably worried sick about me being captured and all that though. She knew the risks when she signed up for this mission. "We both did, really, but still can't help but worry about," Zephyr 9 recoiled, his crystals flickering erratically. The human's thoughts weren't organized in the neat, compartmentalized structure he was used to. Instead, they flowed in an endless, chaotic stream that seemed to have no beginning or end. He steadied himself and tried again, this time focusing on accessing specific memories. That time in basic training when Sergeant Williams made us run 15 miles in the rain, and I thought I was going to die, but didn't. And now here, I am captured by aliens, which is definitely worse than running in the rain, though not by much. Considering aliens seem pretty professional about the whole thing, not like the movies where they probe you and stuff though. I guess this mind-reading thing is kind of like probing, but mental probing, which is somehow worse because the galactic interrogator's head began to throb. In all his years of experience, he had never encountered a mind that simply wouldn't stop talking to itself. He pressed deeper, trying to find the quiet spaces between thoughts where memory fragments usually resided. "Really need to remember to call Mom when I get back, if I get back, which I probably will, because humans are pretty good at surviving things. We're like cockroaches that way. Very hard to kill completely, though. I'm not sure I like comparing myself to cockroaches, maybe more. Like cats have 9 lives, though I think I've used up at least 3 of mine already. There was that time with the speeder crash, and then the plasma conduit explosion, and now this alien mind-reading thing, so that's 3 down, 6 to go assuming. The cat thing applies to humans, which it probably doesn't, but you never know." Zephyr 9's crystals began to dim as fatigue set in. This was impossible. Every sentient species had moments of mental quiet, brief pauses in their thought processes that allowed for deep memory access. But this human's mind was like a river that never stopped flowing, carrying an endless stream of observations, worries, memories, random thoughts, and bizarre tangential connections. He tried a different approach, attempting to follow one specific thought thread to its conclusion, hoping to find useful information buried in the chaos. Strategic defense protocols are classified level 9, which means I can't think about them except I'm thinking about not thinking about them, which is technically thinking about them in a way, but not really because I'm not actually thinking about the specific details, just thinking about them, which is different. Like when someone tells you not to think about purple elephants, and then all you can think about are purple elephants, except right now I'm thinking about purple elephants because I just mentioned them, and a low groan escaped from Zephyr 9's throat as he realized the human's mind had somehow created a recursive loop of thoughts about not thinking about classified information while simultaneously thinking about not thinking about it. His head felt like it was splitting apart. Marcus, meanwhile, sat quietly observing his captor with interest. "You okay there, buddy? You're looking a little green around the gills." "Well, more green than usual. He does look kind of sick, which is funny because I'm the one being mind probed here, though I guess it's not really a probe, more like someone trying to have a conversation in a room where 1,000 people are all talking at once, which must be what my brain sounds like to him. Poor guy probably trained for years to do this job, and here I am ruining his day, just by being human and having a normal human brain that never shuts up even when I'm sleeping. I dream, and dreams are just thoughts wearing costumes. Really, Zephyr 9 staggered backward, his neural interface crackling and sparking. The sheer volume of simultaneous thoughts, the endless branching pathways of human consciousness, the way every single thought seemed to connect to 17 other thoughts in a vast web of mental chaos. It was overwhelming his carefully tuned psychic abilities. I cannot, he gasped, his translator struggling with the harmonic distortions in his voice. You're mine. It never stops. How do you function? How do you make decisions? How do you focus on anything when there are dozens of simultaneous thought processes running constantly? Marcus shrugged. Practice, I guess. You learn to tune out the noise and focus on what's important. Though to be honest, sometimes I wonder the same thing. Like right now I'm wondering if this counts as psychological warfare because technically I didn't do anything aggressive. I just sat here and let him read my mind, and my mind broke his brain, which is kind of hilarious in a way, though. I probably shouldn't be laughing about it because he looks genuinely distressed, poor alien guy just trying to do his job, and I accidentally gave him a migraine, or whatever aliens get instead of migraines, probably something with those crystal things on his head. The interrogator's crystals had gone completely dark. He stumbled toward the door, his movements erratic and unsteady. This is unprecedented. I must consult with my superiors. The human weapon, it's their minds. They weaponize consciousness itself. As the door sealed behind the fleeing alien, Marcus sat alone in the chamber, still processing the encounter. Well, that was weird, probably going to be in the report as the guy who broke an alien mind reader just by thinking normally, which is kind of an achievement. I guess, though, not one you can really put on a resume unless you're applying for jobs. That specifically required breaking alien mind readers, which is probably a pretty niche field. But you never know what the job market will be like after first contact. 3 hours later, Marcus was released without explanation and escorted to a transport ship bound for Earth. The official record stated that the prisoner had been found to possess incompatible neural architecture and was deemed unsuitable for information extraction. What the records didn't mention was that Zephyr 9 had immediately requested a transfer to a different department and spent the next several weeks in psychological rehabilitation, trying to forget the endless cacophony of human thought that had nearly driven him to madness. And somewhere in the depths of space, humanity's greatest defense was quietly thinking about whether they remember to turn off the coffee maker.